everyone, and thank you for stopping back at the channel for the Mrs. B's and the updates for our house build. There was a couple of points from last time I thought I should kind of come back and clarify, because I don't think I was clear on what our situation was now, and a couple of the things that we had done that I had maybe mentioned in the first video, but then I didn't update in the second video. So right now we are renting for the winter an Airbnb because we didn't want a year-long lease, so we rented a cottage on the ocean, and that's been cold and windy and made us glad that we didn't buy property on the ocean. It's pretty sometimes, but it can be harsh in the winter. So we obviously didn't finish last summer. There's a lot still to be done. But we'll be going back to the trailer and the property in at least a month and a half. So I know I mentioned in our very first video that we were considering a few different options with our power supply, whether we would hook up to NB Power or go solar and be off-grid. We decided for now to go solar, and we got that set up, I would say, maybe within a week or a week and a half of getting there. So we were able to kind of use the generator in the trailer to supply all the electricity that we needed. And we had to get the solar panels set up on the container. I only got a little short clip of it in this video. I should have taken more footage, but I didn't. But maybe I'll go back later and try and video some of the setup for that. They do need to be south facing. When we got the panels set up, Tim had to do a little bit more clearing where they were in order to get full sunlight, but they have been great for us. I think we're pretty happy with going that route. Yeah, it's worked out well so far. We haven't lived with them in the winter, but I don't think it'll be that much of an issue because even on cloudy days, the sun still seems to come through and charge the panels and the battery. So yeah, I can probably show in the future maybe the setup of the solar and talk about some costs and benefits and pros and cons about it. Like I mentioned, we've liked it so far, and maybe I'll do either most of a video on that or a whole separate video. We'll see. I got a question about clearing the land and some of the stuff that goes into cutting down the trees and the sandstone, all that sort of stuff. The very beginning stages, I got a question about costs and time and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to wait until the end of this video and I'll go into a little bit more detail about the costs of what it costs us for that. So if you stick till the end, then you can hear what we were able to accomplish for a certain amount of money. So I hope you enjoy this video and have as much fun watching it as I know that I did looking back on some of our memories. Right here they were leveling out the space for the house. That tool the guy is holding there is a laser level, which tests the grade of the ground to make sure everything is level. So we found out that if you're using solar, you need a type of pump for your well that has a soft start and will draw less current. I thought that this machine was so cool, this roller. It like vibrated the whole ground when it was on, and it made everything so smooth and even. We had to bring in a lot of sandstone after we removed the topsoil. There was a lot of mud and muck and stuff in there, and obviously you don't want that for the base of your house. Whatever you think you're going to need for sandstone for your property and your build, you're probably going to definitely need more than you think originally. Literally drawing out where the foundation of the house is going to be. I just love this clip and want it to live in my memories forever. So something that's worth mentioning is we are building on grade. We're not digging down for our basement. We wanted to be above ground because of how wet New Brunswick is, and we didn't want to deal with flooding. So we're building on grade and backfilling. If there's one word that describes building, it's mud. Those are footing pads for support beams. We had 4 total. An exciting day. It's our very first concrete pour for our foundation. We had a few friends come out that were willing to lend a hand, and it was really helpful. We didn't have to get a concrete pump because of this.
You helping there? Is it windy, Emily?
So easy, even a 2-year-old can do it. Right here they're getting out the air pockets in the concrete, and then they're over there smoothing it out as well. Okay, those little bars sticking up there is a very important factor. Don't forget to put those into your foundation, because if you do, you'll have to tear it all up and do it again. It's our ICF coming in. Exciting. Are my videos taking anyone back to that show, Mighty Machines, that they watched when they were younger?
Pop it over that. And then because it has to go flat, it's a brace down in here. And then because there's a short side and a long side, so we got the long side down there, so we'll take it like this.
So I'm gonna leave that video ending as that. We have the first layer of the ICF down, and it didn't take Tim very long at all to put that first layer down. I asked if it took a couple hours. He couldn't quite remember, but he didn't even think it took a couple hours, because as you can see, it's like a big huge Lego block and it's super light, and I think especially once you find your groove it goes faster. I will say that I think it's the little things that people forget that take the most time. A lot of times with the building of the house, it would be like a long time with all these little details, and then it'd be like one big thing, and then all these little details, and then one big thing. And sometimes when you're in all those little detail parts, it can feel like a long time, and then all of a sudden you've got this one big project accomplished and you're like, oh wow, it's starting to look more like a house. And then it goes back to the little details and it's like, oh, this is taking so long. And then you do another big thing, it's like, ooh, that's even farther. Tim also mentioned that when you move up with the ICF, it does take a little bit longer to do, because then you start coming into the window cutouts, the door cutouts, and adding more and more rebar. So it will take a little bit longer to do the ICF as you go higher up. And then you're also putting up the scaffolding as well, because you're starting to go above your head. On one of the clips I mentioned about those little rebars sticking up out of the concrete foundation that's necessary for ICF, and it's really important that you put that in, otherwise you've just wasted a lot of time and money on your concrete foundation there. I know that if you're doing ICF, it's recommended that you go do a course for ICF so you don't forget those little details like that. So getting back to someone's question about the cost to have the land cleared and all that leveling and everything, obviously that's going to be a different amount for everyone. It depends what your property looks like, where your property is located, obviously who is doing the work for you. I think that if you have the time and capability, your best bet is to do a lot of that stuff yourself. You're going to find the most savings that way. In our case, we were looking to get out to that property as soon as possible, so we did need to contract that out, which did end up costing a little bit more money than if we had just done it ourselves and taken the time to do that. Yeah, Tim did still cut a lot of trees down. He got a start into that as soon as possible, weather permitting. It just came down to crunch time where we just had to get out of the house that was sold and onto the property. I think there was a little bit of peace of mind too, knowing that, you know, Tim was working a full-time job, so while he was doing that, there was someone else out there that was able to work and do the stuff that he didn't necessarily have to think about, because like Tim was doing a lot of other stuff and there's only so much that your brain can handle too. I'll also mention that it is huge who you end up contracting out to. I've heard a lot of horror stories of people hiring people for jobs and they can end up costing a lot of money and time and in the end heartbreak. Whoever you go with, I would make sure that they come with a lot of good feedback and recommendations, because you're one bad contractor out from a lot of loss. Luckily we had friends who recommended our contractor to us, who actually ended up to be related to some people that we knew, and he didn't live too far either, so his sandstone pit, all that stuff was close by, and that worked out well for us. So as soon as the weather permitted, he got out there. He did our culvert and like the actual culvert pipe and the driveway. Whatever Tim hadn't cleared, he cleared with his excavator. It's also going to depend for your cost what type of machinery they bring out. So he did the driveway. He cleared a lot more space there for where the house was, for where the trailer was going, extra space, and where the septic would be going. And then he, like you saw in the video, was leveling out, removing topsoil, bringing in sandstone, some gravel as well for the base of the house, and then rolling that roller there. We in the end also learned a lesson with having to tell him when to stop, because he could have just kept going and that would have cost us a lot more money, so we really had to be putting the brakes on as well. And then he also leveled out where the foundation would be as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. So in the end, all of that stuff ended up costing us about $17,000 Canadian. That was a little bit more than we were looking to spend for that. So if you're going to be contracting out, I would say whatever costs you're thinking it's going to be, add more onto that. It goes for a lot of stuff with building a house, I think. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of different variables with that based on so many different factors. We just lucked out in the fact that he was close by to us, and it's going to matter what type of property you have, where you live, what the weather has been like, where the sun shines down on, what the topsoil is like. There's just a lot of different factors, and I think that you first of all need to research the type of property that you're buying first, and that's going to determine a lot for you. So I hope I answered all of your questions okay. If you have any more, let me know and I'd be happy to share. I appreciate you watching and keeping up with us, and I'm going to do the whole spiel of please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.